Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This week I'm working on Astroroof, finishing up a few odds and ends to get it outside and into perfect boost weather. My right foot is getting heavier and I need to be able to enjoy one of these Buicks before everything goes to winter. This week I'll be working on two things. One, there's an exhaust leak underneath the car. I'm going to show you all that. And two, I'm going to figure out the reason why we have a boost leak. So watch with me. Astroroof was doing so well a few days ago, and I was just riding down the road and things got a little bit louder and I couldn't understand why. So I kept on riding and I came across this. So both of the exhaust pipes are disintegrated. They're just popped out from all of the rust, and it serves me right because I've been replacing things system by system, and the final two components that I have not touched yet are rear suspension and exhaust. And this just goes to show you what happens when you just don't check up on your systems. So I got another exhaust on the way, but it's been back ordered for a while now. So instead, I am going to just patch this up for now, just so I can keep on riding. There's a few other things that I want to test on the car, but I can't do it with this. So let's cut out the cancerous parts. We will weld and fit the new, and we'll keep on going. So I'm just gonna patch up this section for now. New exhaust coming up in a later episode. So if you're getting ready to tackle this yourself, you'll need a few things. Ideally, tape measure and a marker. You may need a pipe expander depending on your setup. I have 2 1/4 inch inside diameter tailpipe extensions. I got 2 of these, I may only need 1. I'm taking a scribe with me just in case. And of course, this is gonna be the powerhouse. I'm going to need a reciprocating saw. I've got a fresh blade here in case I need it. This one looks a little worse for wear. So let's get this over with. And I almost forgot, safety glasses. A shield would be even better, so I'm gonna grab that too. All right, so my phone died, but you can still see where I ended up. And I'm about to weld in these 2 pieces, but they slip fit just the way they're supposed to. Overside is coming from the source of the smoke, going into the chamber toward the muffler. So same thing here. We're a little cocked on this side, so I'm gonna tap in a little bit more here to kind of get it to line up straight. But we have more than enough pipe inside of each other to weld up. So let's do that now. All right, let's start it up, see what it sounds like. Yeah, it's nice and quiet again. All right, so it is still a pretty rainy day out. Decided not to go to Fall Carlisle because of the rain. So I'm just here working on the Buick, and I would never think that we'd have baby oil in the garage, but we really need it. So this week I am leak testing the system. Well, smoke testing the system really. And we're going to do that on the Buick to see if we have any boost leaks that are causing the turbo not to spool up. I want all the power I can get out of all the upgrades that I've given it, and this is going to help me do it. Now, I got this on eBay. No, I got this on Amazon for, I think, $100. It is the Ancel model S1000. This is the smoke tester that has the level filler as well. So let's open it up, see what it's like, and see how it can help us get to a spooling Buick. Done the unboxing. We have our main unit. We have the baby oil funnel. We have the smoke delivery hose, an adapter cone, power supply, and an intake bladder. Of course, we also have the hook that will screw into the top and suspend the unit. So this bladder over here, this looks like a replacement part. So maybe it's something that's inside the unit. If it goes bad, we can replace it. All the connections are on this side for the power and for the smoke exhaust. We have a sight level here for the oil, and you fill it from up top here. Not sure what the lights on this unit are for. And then we have a strap here for easy carrying. So the baby oil that I'm using is the shea and cocoa butter oil. This is not the one that they recommend. They actually recommend the mineral oil in the pink bottle. So if you're doing this and you're about to get everything you need, get the pink bottle instead. It also says that pure number 5 white oil is the best choice if it's available. So let's get everything plugged up. Oh, I found out some information on these two as well. These are actually buttons, and this one is the air control switch, and this one is the smoke control. So this, I did get the upgraded unit, so it will generate its own air. On the cheap models, you have to plug it into your air compressor. I didn't want to have to fumble around with that, so this unit is an air compressor and a smoker all in one. Highly recommend doing that if you don't want to fumble around with air hoses and such. So there are several ways to introduce smoke into the system, depending on what you're trying to test. Now, the motor in its current state, smoke will flow wherever the valves are open, wherever there's a path. So we have to keep that in mind. One way that I'm going to try is right here. I'm going to try by the intake and remove this mass airflow sensor and introduce the smoke tester there. And then we can try some other areas like vacuum blocks and other areas of the car or the engine to see where smoke bellows out from. Let's try the intake first. Start off by loosening the mass airflow sensor. Carefully twist and remove that. Now, what I was saying about options boils down to this. There's 3 ways that we can get smoke into the system. One is first by a direct connection from the unit right to this tube, and we can go right in at one of the vacuum tubes. PCV or the vacuum block, that'll work. The second will be using this tool to pump up and fill in the circumference of the intake air tube. As you continue to pump it, you'll see how big it gets, and hopefully this will be big enough to block any gaps in the air intake and follow that up. To release, we just press and hold. And then number 3 will be by using this cone. You can stuff this into the intake air tube and then use this hose here to connect to this unit right here. This seems to be the best way, especially looking at the size of my air intake tube. That's right at 3 inches. I'm not sure if that can meet the need. So let's use this and this tube to get the system hooked up. So we'll fit that nice and snug. I also cleaned out the inside of the tube to make sure that nothing kind of gets in its way. I don't think I need to clamp down on it. Push fit should be firm enough. From there, I can cut this and then stuff this onto here. And then I can connect that unit to this right here. Be sure not to cross thread anything. All right, so I turned off a couple of lights so you can see the LED lit here. This controls the air compressor. So once I push this, you'll hear the compressor work. Okay, now I'll leave that on and I'll also press this one, which will generate the smoke. Just so we can see it. We'll wait for it to heat up, and once it does, we'll start to see this, all right? Let me hook it back up to the system now. Let's see where we're leaking from. It looks like we've already spotted one leak. It's coming from the oil fill hole. So I'll make note of that, but that's one seal that we need to replace, right at that oil filler neck. So I used a coupler from an air intake system that I had laying around, and this blood pressure monitor system thing to get the system sealed to a point. So if we turn it on, you can see right here, we have a PCV valve leak. It's kind of hard to see. We've got several leaks actually. We've got one that's coming from underneath the turbo that I can't spot right now. That could be on the other end of the PCV. Just very hard to see. So let me inspect the system a little bit more, and I'm gonna have to tell you what I find. All right, so I found out where that smoke is coming from underneath the turbo. It's going to the oil return line. So where it seals back into the intake, it's leaking from there. So that and the PCV system are two of the leaks that we're dealing with right now, coupled with the seal that happens right here. That takes care of that. I also want to take a look at the exhaust system to see if we're dealing with any potential leaks there. So let's do that real quick. I'm under the car right now, and with that PCV leak fixed, I want to take a look at these headers. So on the Turbo Buick forums, one suggestion was to remove the crossover pipe, i.e. this pipe here, and shine a light through the collector here, and hopefully we'll be able to see light on the other side. And that basically means that there's a crack or some sort of leak in the headers that's causing us to lose boost pressure. So I've gotten that flange off already, and I've gotten one bolt off of this one. Let me get at the other one, and hopefully we'll have enough room to drop this a little bit further down. If that doesn't do it, then we'll have to remove this as well, but I believe this should be enough. Okay, so we got those off. Right now I got the smoke machine on. I've gotten everything hooked up here, and it looks like I am getting a lot of smoke coming out of that header. It's coming up from past the collector, so I know it's making a good seal here, but just look at the amount of smoke that's bellowing out. That header is done. So we know for sure that header has to come out. Let me try to see if I can hook up the header, the smoke tester on this side, and see what this header is giving me too. All right, header installed on the passenger side. I don't see anything. Yeah, I don't see anything. It would be bellowing out right now from there if there was. So passenger side looks good, driver side definitely bad. So I'd say this is $100 really well spent. I was able to see 3 leaks in the system, and I fixed one with the PCV. but there's still another with the turbo drain line and of course the driver's side header. I got a little bit of a surprise for you before we end the episode. In anticipation of leaky headers, I went ahead to DNA Motorsports and got this header kit. Now, you may have seen it on eBay for like $169. There was one version of that there. DNA Motorsports has one for $249, which is supposed to be just as good as the Speed Daddy headers. They're supposed to be really good quality welds, not as prone to cracking, and just fit really well. So I'll put that to the test. We got fresh motor mounts and all of that on the car, so this should be a really true test of how things fit. And I'll be installing this next week. I'm gonna get started on it right now, but the video probably will not be ready until next week. But thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Got much more Buick content on the way. It's fall. I'm trying to get this thing out there. This is prime boost weather. So thanks for watching.